Never stop reading the Bible. All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're exploring a seriously fascinating moment in biblical history, specifically looking at the book of Nehemiah, chapters 7 and 8. It's this incredible story about how an ancient community went from just trying to survive physically to experiencing this absolutely profound, joy-filled spiritual renewal.
Now, you might be wondering, what actually happens after a city's walls are finally rebuilt? Well, you'd think they could just kick back and relax, right? Not exactly. The anxiety actually lingers. In chapter 7, even though the physical walls of Jerusalem were fully complete, there were still some very real, dangerous enemy threats lurking outside. So it definitely wasn't time to let their guard down. They had to secure what they literally just spent blood, sweat, and tears building.
Which brings us to Phase 1, securing the restored city. So to secure their new home, the leaders didn't waste any time. They quickly mobilized guards and set up serious wall defenses. But they actually went way beyond just physical barriers. They conducted this massive, detailed census, going family by family, region by region, really trying to build a solid community identity. On top of that, the leaders and the general public alike actually pooled their wealth together to financially support the city. It was a total team effort.
And honestly, this illustrates the ultimate pivot in our story. We're watching the community transition from these external physical anxieties of defense, like the walls, the census, the armed guards, to a deep, internal, spiritual restoration. Basically, they had to secure the physical perimeter first so they could finally focus on healing the hearts of the people inside.
And that leads us perfectly into Phase 2, a great word-centered awakening. Okay, I want you to just picture this scene for a second. Imagine the entire population of the city standing together in the square, listening with absolute pin-drop focus. Up front, you have Ezra, acting as both a scholar and a priest, standing before the masses, reading their foundational law out loud to the entire community.
But here's the catch. Simply hearing the words read aloud, that wasn't quite enough. Intermediate leaders were actually stationed all throughout this massive crowd, working tirelessly to interpret and explain the text as it was being read. They were translating these ancient words into clearly understandable concepts for the everyday person, making absolutely sure that everyone deeply comprehended what it all meant.
And wow, the results were incredible. This profound understanding sparked a massive, word-centered revival. As the people truly connected with their foundational texts, it completely transformed their initial weeping and heartfelt repentance into overflowing, genuine joy. I mean, the city was literally coming alive from the inside out.
Which brings us to our final stage, Phase 3, joyful remembrance and action.
So all of this incredible renewal took place during the 7th month. And while they were meditating on the law, they actually discovered the ancient regulations for the Festival of Booths. Talk about a light bulb moment. Immediately, they sprang into action. They gathered branches from the mountains and built these striking temporary shelters right on their roofs and in the public squares. They lived in them for 7 joyous days to remember Israel's wilderness journey, wrapping up the whole thing with a massive, solemn assembly on the 8th day.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought to chew on. How might seeking a deeper, clearer understanding of our own foundational texts and history lead to true joy and renewal in our modern lives today?
Thank you so much for joining me on this rapid journey through history. Just a quick note before we go, this explainer was brought to you today using material from the Center Studio.